Make this just a little bit bigger before we get started. Sometimes it's just a little too tiny. All right, hopefully that's big enough. I'm going to do this one more time. Sorry, guys. Then we'll get started. Okay. Hello. Hello, good morning. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is your monthly eCom planning session. I am, again, with eCom Sellers. I've been selling for over, I don't know, I'm trying to think, I think it's close to 8 years selling online. Unofficially, I've been selling for probably about 14 years because I was doing Craigslist before people thought Craigslist was a thing. But in any case, I'm here to talk to you about planning for Q4. If you haven't already gotten it together, figured out what you're going to do for Q4, what I am here to do is to help everybody get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business when it comes to Q4. So we used to have these regular ecom planning sessions, and we kind of stopped for a little bit. I had to step back and take care of some personal things in my business. So we're going to start up again. So again, my name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent in their business, helping them to make good decisions so that they can make the progress that they've always wanted to make in their business. So if that is you, I am here for you. My son has decided that he was going to start the washer this morning. So if you don't know, I have an autistic son who at any moment could stop in and say hello to us for any given reason. So we are still working on him being able to understand, hey, mommy's live. But in any case, so today we're talking about Q4 and what you need to do to get ready for Q4 and what you need to do to be prepared. The irony is that we're already in Q4. It's October the 2nd. So if you're not ready for Q4, you still have a little bit of time, but we're in it. We're already in it. So welcome to October. Hello, October. We're ready for you. We are going to go through the monthly ecom planning checklist, but we're also going to talk about it from a monthly standpoint and from a quarterly standpoint since we are in Q4. So in order to execute this successfully, one of the things I suggest you do is you can grab the My Ecom Planner. You can go to www.myecomplanner.com to grab that. In addition to that, you can schedule a free coaching session if you feel like you need a little bit more time to get it together and to pull together your plan. You can go to ecomsellers.com, click on freebies, and then click on coaching and schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. So if you don't have a notebook and pen, I do want to encourage you to grab a notebook and pen. I also encourage you to share this out with a friend or tag a friend and let them know about these sessions. We are live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And if you have any questions, please type them in the comments and let me know what your questions are. These videos will eventually make their way to YouTube. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about step one of this process. You're going to review the month that just ended. So the month that just ended was September, but it's also the end of Q2. The end of September, Q2 was over, Q3, and Q4 started. So end of September and also Q3. What did you complete? What did you not complete? What did you get accomplished? Did you meet any goals? So the question becomes, if you didn't establish any goals in Q3 and you didn't establish any goals in September, we're definitely going to be establishing goals for Q4 and establishing goals for October. And what needs to be added to next month. So you're going to go through, if you have the My Ecom Planner, and assess your top goals for the month. What did you complete? And what were the income producing goals that you actually performed or completed? There's also some admin goals, some operational goals, and those are goals. Again, we need to know what you completed, what you didn't complete for that month. So somehow I think my VA accidentally deleted those. In any case, Those are things that you need to make sure that you go back and you add to your or assess in your plan. Take about 30 minutes to assess those and see what your goals were for October, what your top goals were, September, what your top goals were for September, what your income producing goals were for September, your targets, what were your admin, operations, and VA goals for September, and then also what were your marketing goals and driving traffic goals for September. And while you're at it, look at it for Q3, just so you make sure you didn't miss anything. The next thing is to review the notes that you put at the end of each month. Now, if you have the My Ecom Planner, there's a section where you can write notes. If you don't have a My Ecom Planner, then in your own personal notebook, as you go through each month in your business, you probably have some notes and things that you're jotting down. Hopefully, you're jotting them down and all in one place. If you're not, if you got random notes scattered in a few different places, try to compile those and put those in one place so that way you have an opportunity to assess them, to review them. In the My Ecom Planner, we have a brainstorming section. We have a sourcing section. We have a personal notes section for the month. We also have calendar notes for the month. And what I encourage you to do is summarize your findings and put it into the looking forward section of your planner. Each month has a looking forward section. It gives you the opportunity to make sure you don't forget those things. And so in that looking forward section, you're going to summarize all your notes that you took this in September and also for Q3. What were your ideas, your plans, your thoughts? You may have had some plans and ideas for Q4. And so just putting those, compiling them all in one place, take you probably about 10 minutes, unless they're all over the place. It might take you 30 minutes. And the next thing is to perform your month-end tasks to close out the month. So since we're officially into October, you can actually do this. So run your month-end platform reports, depending on which platform you sell on. I just want to say that this guide, it doesn't matter what platform you sell on. It doesn't matter what method of e-commerce that you do. This is a pretty standard operating sort of outline for those who are e-commerce sellers, whether you're doing thrifting, you're selling books, you're doing print on demand, you're doing drop shipping, wholesale, private label, white label, whatever it happens to be. This is pretty much a standard guide or outline on what you need to do. And it doesn't matter what platform. Each platform you have access to some data or reports. So go look at your month-end data or your month-end reports, depending on which platform you sell on. And when I'm talking about selling platforms, I'm talking about Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, Mercari, Poshmark, Bonanza, Google Shopping, Facebook Marketplace, and it goes on and on and on. So look at the reports that are available to you so you can do a thorough assessment. Run your month-end reports, prepare your tax filings, or send your information over to the accountant. Do your inventory audit, double check those, review your expiration dates if that's valid for you. And then go through and do your account reconciliation for the platform, your bank and expense reconciliation. You probably had a budget. You want to see where you are against your budget for the month and see how you did for September. If you didn't have a plan, this is a great day to start thinking about compiling a plan for October. Okay. You're going to add all of that information into the looking forward section of your My Ecom Planner. Then the next thing is, she kind of messed this up just a little bit. So I have to go back and fix my documents. My lovely VA was helping to work on the Ecom Planner, and she actually kind of messed it up a little bit. That's okay. I'm fixing it. So the next thing is to look at the previous year's stats and the data around the previous year. Why do we do that? We want to compare information year over year. Looking at your data year over year, that way you'll know whether or not you're performing better from last year to this year. So last September compared to this September, how did it go? Did your sales increase exponentially, or did they go down, or did they stay flat? Um, did you have some spikes in different products that you weren't expecting to be heavy hitters? Were there any opportunities to potentially think about sourcing differently? So, when you go through and you do an assessment from the previous year to the current year, you're looking at any reports, data, or stats that you kept. If you have an My Econ Planner, then you have that data in your My Econ Planner. You'll have some of your statistical data, so you'll know where you were. You'll know what your budget was. You'll know what your stats were as far as the number of listings, the number of sales, percentage of sales, the marketing, knowing what your ROI is. All of that data is helpful so that you'll know if you're improving in this business. Now, if you're not looking to drastically improve, if you're just looking to continue where you are because you feel like your business is doing great, then that's fantastic. But if you are looking to improve, this is a great way to be able to do that assessment to determine if you're improving or if you're not improving. So, how did your month end results compare to last year? What were your numbers? Did you meet your numbers or beat your numbers? And then also, what sold like crazy so you can make a mental note for next year, and what was a bust, like didn't sell at all, didn't move. If you're doing private label, then you're just comparing what your private label product is, unless you're making enhancements, improvements, bundling stuff with your private label or white label products. But if you're a person that sells a variety of different products in addition to maybe a private label product, then this data could be helpful to you, give you some insights on what's happening with customers, what's happening with buyers, online buyers, maybe some ideas on how you can market things differently. You also want to do this same exercise by looking at your data for last year for October. And while we're at it, you might as well look at your data for last year for Q4. It's going to give you a baseline on what you potentially need to do. So, for October of 2021, how did you do? So that way you'll know for October of this year what you need to be focused on, what you need to be thinking about. Maybe you made some notes on what those things needed to be. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and update these document while I am here. But in any case, that's what I would encourage you to do, to not only look at September's numbers, but look at October's of last year. And then also look at your end of third quarter. How'd you do since third quarter is over for 2022? Comparing 2021 to 2022, how'd you do? Did you improve? And also compare, get the data or the stats for 20 October and Q4 of 2021, so you can compare it and you can have some targets to beat for 2022. So jot all of that information down. I would put it either in your lessons learned, or you can also update your wins and accomplishments section of your My Ecom Planner. Again, if you don't have a My Ecom Planner, you can still grab one, but you can go to myecomplanner.com to get it. So make sure that you're making a note of those things. That way you can establish some goals, some targets for Q4, and you can establish some valid based on your track record. Now, if you don't have a track record, you're starting from scratch. And so this is your opportunity to at least establish a baseline on what you plan on performing when it comes to your sales and stats for Q4. In addition to that, did you have any daily goals and daily stats from last year to this year? What were your averages? So that way, again, you know what you're working towards. And any of your priorities or habits that you had from last year to this year, did they serve you well? Establishing those habits. And if they did, fantastic. But if they didn't, maybe you want to think about doing something different. So at this point, again, we're just collecting data. We're going to collect this data and we're going to use it later on. So you're going to summarize your findings. And as I said before, you're going to look ahead into October and also for Q4 as you are looking back for September and Q3 of last year, looking at that data. And document all of your findings in the looking forward section of your My Ecom Planner. And if you don't have one, just jot it down in your notes section. Okay. So we got some historical data, and we're going to use that to make some business decisions going forward. So the next thing we're going to do in step 5 is we are going to plan for next month. So in planning for next month, you're going to review the upcoming holidays, major events, major activities that happen to be happening in the month of October. What are they? And while you're at it, I would just go ahead and look at the entire quarter. Not only October, but look at November and December. What's coming up? Now, for the US and for Canada and several other countries, we know, okay, we got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Those are all major holidays. In the middle of that, there's some additional holidays that may be specific to different countries and or specific groups of people. So like Hanukkah is a specific group of people, and there's some specific dates and holidays around that. And you also have Kwanzaa. You have the fact that Thanksgiving is separated on a different date in Canada. All these things matter. So we're going to use this information to our benefit. And we're going to jot down what we find in the looking forward section. So I will tell you this. As far as October is concerned, hopefully you did all of this stuff back in, I would say, August, because I'm always looking at the quarter ahead, not just a month ahead. And so I would have collected all of this data of what events, holidays, major daily holidays, major holidays, international holidays, and any other major events or activities. I would have been looking at this on July the 1st for Q4, for October 1st, November, and December. The reason I do that is because, again, if you're going to be developing designs, if you're doing print on demand, you've got to have some runway room. If I'm going to source inventory from a supplier, I got to have runway room. So right now in your notebook, I would write down that you need to be looking at the next quarter's holidays, events, and activities a quarter ahead. So next year for 2023, you need to start looking at start looking at Q4 no later than July the 1st. If you want to go back, I would go 2 quarters back and put it on April 1st. Begin sourcing, developing ideas, figuring out what types of maybe product bundles you want to put together, all of that a quarter to 2 quarters in advance, because Q4 is so critical. Whereas like Q1 and Q2 and Q3, you maybe be able to get away with like 1 quarter ahead. So I just want you to think about it that way and use that to your advantage. Then the next one, step 6 of this process, I want you to go through, and let me just say this. In the My eCom Planner, we have several pages of daily holidays, several pages of monthly holidays, and several pages of international holidays, all inside the My eCom Planner. So it makes it much easier to do that from the My eCom Planner. And for 2023, we've added some additional holidays, and we've also tagged them so that they're easy to find. If you get the digital version, you'll be able to click on the banner and be able to hop to whichever sections you want to from the table of contents. So it's a pretty cool tool. So if you want to grab the 2023, you can. You can get the 2022 at a digital version at a deep, deep discount right now. So on step 6 of this process, we're going to do some advanced planning. This is the same thing that I was literally just talking about. When I'm talking about advanced planning, I'm talking about for the next 4 to 20 weeks. So in step 6, we are actually looking at Q4, probably in Q2. We can look at it in Q3. We still can do a lot with that information. We can use it to help make some business decisions, some marketing decisions, some traffic decisions, some planning type of decisions. But the big thing is that we're definitely going to be looking at this and looking at this information in advance. It's going to help us to make better sourcing decisions, maybe better product research decisions, also help us do better keyword research, maybe come up with better niche ideas or come up with more niche ideas, niche products that maybe people aren't always thinking about. And it gives us a little more time to plan how we want to target that audience, especially, if you're doing product funnels, and not necessarily selling directly on a specific platform, then you have a little bit more time to develop that funnel, design it, make sure that that inventory is going to be readily available. If you're going to drop ship that product to your customer, having maybe a secondary source. Because if this is a hot product, we know that Q4 is the most active time of the year for online shopping and online buying. So we don't want to miss out on that. So it gives us a little more runway room to be able to schedule, plan, and be strategic about the products that we source, the products that we find, our method of presenting these products to our customers, or the platforms in which we want to sell on. For some people, they've been selling on one or two platforms all year, and then in Q4, they make sure that they're selling on multiple channels. So again, thinking that through, it gives you some more time for strategic planning. Since we're already in Q4, then this may be an opportunity for you to begin thinking about Q1. If you've already got your Q4 plan pulled together, then in this advanced planning session, then you can start thinking about Q1. But if you haven't gotten your Q4 plan together, you should spend some time today pulling together your game plan. Go back and listen to the replay and put together your strategy, your approach. And again, you can schedule a free coaching session if you need some help. All right, step 7 of this process is to determine what your stats or goals are going to be for the new month. What are your stats based on the fact that you went back and looked at your historical data for October, okay? And you also went back and looked at your historical data for Q4 if you are a long-term seller or a previous seller. If you're a new seller, then you have nothing to start with. So I would set some goals, some targets based on what you're planning on doing in your business. Maybe you have a goal of creating 50 new listings a week. Okay, that's a good goal. So that could be a statistical goal that you not write down 50 new listings a week. That doesn't necessarily mean 50 new products, because if you get strategic about it, maybe you find a product that there's a blue version, a pink version, a yellow version, a green version, a red version, whatever. And so again, putting up those products, they can be individual listings depending on the platform. You can do variation listings. So you decide what your approach is going to be, and you could list, if you find a product that has maybe it has 10 different colors or sizes that it comes in or whatever, then that may be an easy way for you to get to your stats, to reach your stats. Maybe one of your goals is to source 5 new niches every single week, or 10 new niches every single week. Those are good goals and targets and stats that you can establish now. So as a new seller, think about that. But if you're not a new seller, an established seller, I would start with, what are my stats and my numbers from last year around this time, so October, and then also for Q4, what do I want to beat? What do I want to meet or beat? Okay. So write down those numbers and then go through all of the looking forward and lessons learned sections. Now we actually started with steps 1 through 6. We actually documented some of the things that we learned or steps 1 through 7, sorry. We documented some of the things that we learned, some of the things that we wanted to move into the looking forward section so we can build a better plan for October. And we also documented some lessons learned. What did we learn? Like those products that were a bust from September or from Q3 that you thought were really going to fly off the shelf. That's information that you want to note not only for September, but but you also want to make a note of that going into October and Q4. And maybe they were, you listed them prematurely. That could be it. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Or it's just that this product is just stale. There's too many people on it. You have to reinvent the product, maybe bundle it with something else, do something different to make it stand out, or I just give up. And this product is just not going anywhere. So you want to make a note of those types of things so that you have that information for next year as well. You can come back, look in the My eCom Planner and go, yeah, don't buy that. So, so document all of that, and we're going to review all of that information. We're going to highlight the things that are going to be goals for us. Goals like I just talked about, like putting together your stats of your number of listings per day, sales per day, target goals for sales per day, or units sold per day, um, number of new products that you source, new product ideas. Again, if one of the things that you're not the best at is pulling together product ideas, this gives you an opportunity to focus and work on that. And then the other thing, the next thing on the list is that we're going to take all of that information. We're putting all of this into, we're highlighting what we want to use to help us establish our new goals for October, establish our weekly priorities that we feel like are going to be major weekly priorities for October, and also give us some ideas on the goals we should be establishing for Q4. Last but not least, in step 9, we are going to go through the process of putting together a budget. You should have a budget for October. You should know how much money you want to be able to spend and invest, and what are those things going to be on. You also should be compiling your cash flow strategy, whatever that happens to be. You should probably be putting together a cash flow strategy. So I'm going to put together a cash flow strategy, and that's what we're compiling in step 9 of this process. Now we're going to go ahead and create our new plan, and we're taking all the information that I talked about in steps 1 through 9, and we're literally going to begin the process of building our plan for this Q4. Okay, so we're going to build this plan out. We're going to start with taking the information that we have from our own personal calendars. I think one of the things that people struggle with is, and I have struggled with this too, so it's not just you, okay, is balancing your personal life and the things that happen, because sometimes we have personal emergencies. I feel like the last 2 months was 100% like 90 personal emergencies per day. I know it wasn't, but it felt like it. And so I get it. I understand. And sometimes you do have to just step back, take a breather, reassess things so that you can move forward. I get that. And school started, and it was just a lot of stuff happening all at one time. So when you have to step back to move forward, it's okay. You want to move forward with confidence, or with less apprehension and less stress and less anxiety. So getting organized will help you do that. Even in the midst of crazy, you at least have a point that you can look at and go, this is where I start. Even when I'm ready to start in the midst of crazy, this is where I'm going to start. So don't feel bad if you have to step back, because I raise my hand and tell you, admittedly, the last 2 months I had to step back in order to move forward. And sometimes that happens in life. Okay. So you need to go pull out your own personal online calendar. You need to add to your My eCom Planner any of the dates that are pertinent when it comes to personal things that are on your personal calendar. If you have a job, things are on your work calendar that you know of, and then other types of calendars that you keep track of. And you need to add all of that to the My eCom Planner. Okay. So put that in your My eCom Planner. If you don't have a My eCom Planner, you can add it to your Google Calendar so that way it's clear and it's there. So start consolidating your work calendar with your personal calendar, and then put that on your Google Calendar or My eCom Planner. Next, you want to go through and add any major personal, spiritual, family or household, health, fitness, monthly, like financial activities that are extremely important to you, where you're going to be investing time, or it's a priority to you. So one of the things is I do is I take my son to Bible study every Wednesday, no matter what. And so it's an important thing. And I make sure that that's a time that I don't allow anything else to bleed into that time, or I don't allow anything else to take that time away. I feel like that's an important time for him and for me. And so I make it a priority. Going to church, again, that's a priority. So my goal is always not to let anything else go into that time spot. So that's a reserved, dedicated time spot that nothing is allowed to be scheduled there. Going to go work out, or maybe you meditate. Maybe there's other things that you do that you're committed to. So those things that are important to you, that are dedicated time, maybe there are things that you've been doing it for years. So like Saturday nights is when we cook for the week. We do meal planning, meal prep. And so my goal is to not let anything bleed into that time. So all of those things that are important to you, put those on the My eCom Planner and put it on your calendar so that way those things don't bleed into that time. The next is from your looking forward section. I want you to write down the goals that you want to establish for October, because you made a lot of notes in the looking forward section, a lot of stuff that I went back, if you listen to the replay, that I talked about that you need to be thinking about, you need to be writing down so that way you can actually add it to the calendar. Because again, what we're doing is we're actually building the calendar right now. And based on all the previous research, all the previous analysis we did, we're building the calendar right now. You're also going to add any activities that are pertinent to your business or extremely important or to your life. Because again, we have to balance this e-commerce journey with our personal lives. And so you have to figure out how to do that tightrope fine dance. And the only way that you can do that successfully is that you, to some extent, try to plan for it. You can't plan for 100% of everything, but I can tell you, if you have zero plan, you will have 100% chaos. You have an idea, you have a concept, and then you're always trying to figure out why you don't get the things done that you wanted to get done. At least if you write it down somewhere, you can come back to it and say, oh yeah, it's just a reminder to get you back on track, get your train back onto the rails, so that you don't always have your train cards all piled up in a corner somewhere. You actually are making some level of progress. So if it's a form of a checklist, that's fine if you don't want to put it into a My eCom Planner. But you should have a goal, a mission, a vision for your business. And you should be stepping into that vision every single day, as often as possible, with consistency as much as possible. Okay? So now that we've populated the calendar part of our plan for October and also some aspects of quarter, which is Q4, this is going to give us an idea of the products that we plan on selling, how often we plan on listing. So I'm going to give you an example. Like in Q3, Q1, Q2, Q3, maybe you list, I don't know, 50 products a week. Just hypothetical. I'm just making some numbers up. But we know that in Q4, those numbers need to ramp up and we need to go to 75 or we need to go to 100 new products a week. So one of the strategies that I teach is that you can start in Q3, and for Q3, instead of doing your 50 products a week, we're going to do a stretch goal and like go to 62 products a week. Okay. Or just 60 or 55. So it stretches you just a little bit in July, because we're talking about Q3. Then August, we go up just a little bit more. So if we were doing a stretch goal, we went from 50 to 60 each week. Now in August, we're going to go from 60 to 70 products every single week. We're pushing it just a little bit more. We're going to stick with that number every single week for 30 days. Then in September, we go from 70 to 80. We're stretching it just a little bit more, and we're pushing ourselves so the 80 becomes comfortable. Because again, if we've been doing 50 consistently all of Q1, all of Q2, now we're stretching ourselves in Q3 so we can be prepared for Q4. We're stretching, we're getting limber so that we can be prepared for the success of Q4. Okay, that's the goal. The other thing is in September, we're going to be looking at where we can steal some time. And I don't mean steal some time permanently. I just mean we're going to invest a little bit more time into the business. So let's say you work 20 hours per week in your business and that's what you do. But in Q4, you need to bump it up to 30 hours. So again, while you're doing this stretching of your time and trying to get used to and the number of units or products that you're listing or selling, you can also move up the amount of time that you invest in your business. So you're trying to go from 20 to 30 hours per week. So starting in July, maybe you go to 23 hours that week. Okay. And that's what you do in July. Then in August, we go to 26 hours in a week. And then in September, you go up to 29 hours in a week. So that way, when you go into October, you're used to working close to 30 hours. So going to 30 is just another hop. And at that point, we had gone from 50 to 60, 70, 80 listings per week. You can go to 90 listings per week in October, maybe the first 2 weeks of October, and then the second 2 weeks of October, push yourself. Second 2 weeks of October, push yourself to get to 100 listings per week at 30 hours. Now, all you have to do is maintain that for November and December. And then you can let up off of the pressure valve just a little bit in January. So that's a way to gradually increase your stats, increase your numbers, increase your number of hours. Or maybe you hire a VA so you don't have to increase your hours at all, and hire a VA starting in July so that you can make sure that they're 100% ready for this journey into Q4 in October. So you work with them in July, you work with them in August, you work with them in September, and they are there to be a duplicate you, just in a fewer hours. But you need to have that extra cash. So you spend July, August, and September raising the extra money you're going to need for the VA that you're going to hire and use. Or maybe you spend the previous quarter, which is quarter two, and you spend April, May, and June raising money for the VA that you're going to bring on board July, August, and September. And by the time your VA is up and running consistently, and performing well consistently over the 30 days and then the 60 days, then that VA should be paying for themselves by the time you get to September. And you don't have to use any more money because they are paying for themselves, and you can use 100% of that money to go directly into inventory. So there's different approaches that you can take in order to gradually get to that place that you need to get to. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out the weekly template. So inside the My eCom Planner, there's a weekly template so that you know what your focus needs to be each week and where you're going to invest your time. There's different activities that you need to do each week, and so you're going to figure out how you want to strategically put together that calendar. Again, using the initial calendar that you created for October, and you've already put a placeholder on the things that are important to you. Important maybe to your family, important to your daily routine, your monthly routine, whatever. We're not going to touch those things. Those are dedicated reserved time, and we're not going to touch those as much as possible. So we're going to start plugging in the things that we're going to be working on. When are we going to be engaging in our research activities? What type of research are we doing? Product research, keyword research, whatever. When are we going to be engaging in our sourcing activities? When are we going to be engaging in listing? Or are we going to use listing tools? Is the VA going to do the listing? When are we going to be engaging in shipping activities? That's shipping either to your fulfillment center, shipping to your customers, or shipping to Amazon FBA. When are we going to be engaging in educational related activities? Because we do want to continue to get better. Now, for some people, they're like, you know what? Every waking hour that I have available extra, I'm going to invest it 100% into the business. And I get that. And so maybe you spend quarter one, quarter two, quarter three getting better at different things. And then quarter four, you take that time that you had reserved for learning and you use it to run your business because you need a little extra time in Q4. That's a business decision. You can decide how you want to do that. So all of the things, these are the what things that you're going to be doing in your business. What are you going to be sourcing? What are you going to be selling? All of those things. What type of keyword research you're going to be doing? All of those things. You're going to put that into the actual template, and that's going into your My eCom Planner. You're also going to add your admin related activities as well, because we don't want to overlook the things that are important to running a business, running your platform reports that you still need to do, filing your taxes, dealing with taxes. I mean, I think uh, you have quarterlies that are due, of course, in October. So you still got to deal with that in the middle of all of this planning. Reconciling your account, reconciling your inventory, checking for expiration dates. Again, some things that you could potentially pawn off to a VA. If you have other members of your family that can provide some additional support in Q4, I would encourage you to engage them or contact them, talk with them, see if they can help you on this journey. And then add all of your remaining important activities to your calendar. Add your top goals for the month. So we talked about some top goals. I talked about those stats of, how many listings are we wanting to get. So if the goal is to get to 100 listings per week, 100 new listings, new products, new SKUs, whatever, then that means you're creating 400 listings a month. 400 listings a month when you were previously in this hypothetical situation doing 200 listings a month or 200. Yeah. So you want to keep those kind of things in mind. That's a statistical goal. What was your, sell-through rate on those products? What is your, what are your stats for the products that you're sourcing? Are there some specific products that you want to focus on? You're getting that information from you're looking forward. So what's your objective? If you are selling on Amazon, we know that a significant number of products go into the toys category around this time of the year. So what do you want your stats to be around toys compared to what you did fourth quarter of last year? Or if you don't have any data because of the fact that you're a new seller, then this is that opportunity for you to focus 100% on getting that, establishing some goals and some targets for yourself. So put together your monthly goal targets, put together your income producing goal targets, income producing activities that you're going to engage in that are going to generate income for you, things that will generate traffic, things that will help you, keyword research, listing on other channels, optimizing your listings. These are all things that are income producing activities. So these are habits that you're establishing, or goals and targets. Admin and operational and VA related goals for the month, and then your ads, your marketing and traffic. All of those things go into the My eCom Planner for the month. And then add any major holidays, events, or activities, again, that are happening locally. So we have our farmers market. We have a couple of farmers markets, and sometimes they have big sales. There's sometimes people will reserve a vendor booth at their local Oktoberfest. Sometimes state fairs are having events, and people will decide to be a vendor there. Sometimes if people have, we have a third trade Mondays, and then we also have a Traders Village. So sometimes people will just rent booths during Q4 because they know that there are buyers, shoppers out there that are also looking for deals and they don't want to go to stores. So if you have a flea market or a swap meet, maybe Q4 is where you decide, I'm going to hire some additional staff and have them work the swap meet for me. Or maybe you get your kids involved and have them work the swap meet with you or for you during Q4. And it's something that you just only do during Q4 and then you're done. So these are all ways to generate revenue, to increase revenue, to help you to get more sales and to drive more traffic. Another thing is, look, you could do more TikToks. You can increase, if you're doing one TikTok a day, maybe you increase it to 2 or 3 TikToks. Same thing with Instagram Reels, same thing with YouTube Shorts. So again, as you're putting together your stat goals, don't overlook those other goals. And so those may be goals where you go from creating one video a day, 7 days a week, which is 28 in a month or so. You say, okay, we're going to do 60 in October, 60 every single, 60 in October, 60 in November, 60 in December. That may be a way to drive more traffic, or you increase it to 90. You figure it out. So I hope this information is helpful. This document is inside the eCom Planning Facebook group, so you can go to the files section to download the monthly eCom Planning checklist and use that to help you on your e-commerce journey. So again, go to the files section of the e-commerce planning Facebook group. It's an open Facebook group. You can just join it and click on the files section, and then download the monthly, the weekly, and the daily checklist. So again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them get focused, get organized, and get consistent in their business. If that's you, I'm here for you. Feel free to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session so that I can help you on this journey. If you haven't already and you want to turn the dial up on your business in 2023, then you need to grab the My eCom Planner right now. You can get the 2023 at a discounted price. You can go to myecomplanner.com to grab it right now. And if you want some support on this e-commerce journey, you can go join eCom Sellers Academy. We'd be more than happy to help you. We are hosting our Q4 boot camp, and you're more than welcome to hang out with us as we go through Q4 together in October, November, and parts of December. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now. We'll see you next time. Share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about it. And again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and I'm with eCom Sellers. Goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.